Here's a week of lunches I made for my husband to stop him from spending a small fortune on food in London. I really like to make my own sliced meat for sandwiches wherever possible. This was a topside roast beef I cooked until medium, then let it completely cool down before slicing as thinly as I could. I like to chuck in some vegetables like garlic and onions to roast as well, and they can be used in the sandwich too. I had some beautiful ox heart tomatoes from the garden, and they went in the sandwich as well as some of the roasted garlic, which I tried to spread along the bread. The roasted onions went in too, and I really love to put in different types of vegetables in a sandwich. I get loads of questions about how to stop the bread going soggy. It's really down to just buttering your bread. The butter just acts like a barrier. For his sweet snack, I'd made this chocolate bar. It was just puffed quinoa mixed with melted chocolate topped with peanut butter and dates. I was so pleased with the whole foods in this lunch I made him, but he insisted on adding in some of these ultra processed snacks. In my last video, I mentioned how he'd forgotten to take his lunch to work one day. One of the commenters had the brilliant idea of putting his keys on top of the lunchbox so he wouldn't forget it. But even so, I still woke up extra early and banged on the window to make sure he had it. The next day, I'd made this seeded wholemeal loaf, and it was roast beef sandwiches again, but with the different bread. Even though it's the same meat filling, I still like to mix up the flavors so he doesn't have the same thing 2 days in a row. I used a huge dollop of my homemade chili jam on the bread and some salad from the garden. His sweet snack was a plum frangipane strudel from the freezer I made with the summer plums a few months ago. Then added some drinks, crisps, and a banana. The next day, he asked for wraps instead of bread. I know, right? What an insult. We had some leftover roast chicken from our dinner, and I filled the shop-bought wraps with cream cheese, salami, chicken, salad from the garden. Wraps are smaller, so I made him 2, although he was lucky to even get 1. I'd been to a farmer's market and I bought him some different flavoured pastel de nata, and for a little snack I gave him some smoked salmon and prawns with a rosemary sauce. It was at this point I was looking at the smoked salmon and thinking I could make that myself. So I went and bought a half side of salmon from our local fishmonger, brined it, dried it, smoked it. It took the best part of 3 days, but I did it. Meanwhile, I made a fresh batch of milk bread. It looked and smelled amazing, and the inside is super soft like brioche, but the outside crust is very hard. I wanted these to be like finger sandwiches, so I chopped all the crusts off and then filled it with cream cheese and the smoked salmon with cucumber. Even as I was making them, trying to be so neat, the salmon was falling out of the sandwiches all over the place. I can only imagine how messy it got in his van when he was eating these. Sometimes he leaves really early and needs breakfast too, so I made him yogurt and granola. He loved the puffed quinoa bars, so I put in another one of those. The only complaint I have is that the salmon made the lunchbox absolutely stink. It also took me ages to get the fishy smell off my fingers too, so I opted for a different sandwich filling the next day. I cooked up some streaky bacon in the air fryer and did my best to chop up these gnarly tomatoes. There was a block of brie at the back of the fridge, and I used it up to make this brie and bacon sandwich on milk bread with chili jam and fresh tomatoes. M&S do this snack where you dip crispy green apples in peanut butter. It's so good. I now make it at home all the time. And that's everything I made for his lunch this week.